Hey everybody, it's Carson checking in for another one-man review. Today I've got a fascinating and just mind-bogglingly complex piece of comics formalisms that's also an enjoyable conceptual read, and it has some good emotional impact in spots and some good humor. Meanwhile, by Jason Shiga. It's a choose-your-own story comic. I first saw this book in probably 2012 at a comic shop in Detroit. I had taught a comics class for kids over the summer at the school I went to, the Cranbrook Academy of Art. They have Summer Art Institute, and we did a comics class. And then the kids released their book in the shop in town, which you'll have to forgive me, but that's almost 10 years ago now. While we were there, I saw this book. I think it had a blue cover. I think the copy I saw had a blue cover. But I was poor. I had just got out of grad school, living off $35 a week out of someone's basement or something like that. So I wasn't able to buy it. And I've never seen it since. And, I've only just started getting money to buy books. So it was on my list. I have an Amazon list of, things I want and I'll get to buying eventually. We went to Second and Charles, which is a used bookstore. There's one here in Birmingham, Alabama that me and Tori go to. we spend more money than we should. You see the haul video, how much I'll spend there. But this was there, and I was so excited to grab a copy. I'm pretty sure this is a used library copy because it's got super shiny pages, or I don't know if all of them are printed that way. This one was obviously owned by Sam Simpson, so I love that. They sell it as a kid's book, but it's pretty, I think I found it in the kid's book section, actually. But it's pretty heady and difficult to interact with. But it's got these really super shiny pages, so I think this might be a library edition that I got. I wonder if it's printed without the pages being so shiny. I'm fine with it. It makes for an interesting tactile experience. And it's got these tabs on it. So it actually might have that laminate quality to it so the book doesn't fall apart. I'm suspecting, because you really have to play with these tabs. So, yeah, this first page, stop. This is not an ordinary comic. No, it is definitely not. It's one of the wildest. I can't even understand. This guy has like a degree in mathematics. I think he shares my alma mater at UC Berkeley. But in mathematics, not art, so way smarter than me. But this is it's like a Chris Ware comic on steroids, basically, with all of these little bars leading everywhere. So this is how the book works. You come in, you got to follow these little tubes around. So here, this is by Amulet Books in New York, and you follow. They don't line up great. That's the problem of the printing, not the artist. But you get the general idea. So you follow here. And then you follow the paths. You always know if it's open, you're to be headed this way, so you can't head back that way because it's closed off. So I like this right out the gate, like it loops back into itself. So I could read here to here, or I could read there to there. So the panel within the panel. Kid going to get ice cream, and then you have a choice, chocolate or vanilla. So if I follow vanilla, then I would follow this path, and I would flip to that page. And then you continue following, and the panels go all over. So here, basically, if you choose vanilla, it just ends the story. How was your day? I got vanilla ice cream. Great. Story's over, pretty much. If you choose chocolate, then you get into almost Gordian knot and mess of trying to navigate this book, because so many of the narratives loop back in on each other. There's three machines, basically, that the kid interacts with. There's a time machine, read someone else's mind machine, and then this, quantum kill-it-all machine. And those often loop back, so you can get lost. So I had to come up with, I don't know how kids are reading this book. I think they probably just don't get it. So I came up with this system to know when I had been down a path where I was using sticky notes and saying, okay, I went down vanilla. I know that I can kind of just flip back, because you don't know, it's really hard to get back to like what's the last split that I made necessarily too. And I'm OCD, so I'm going to want to like read the whole thing. I'm going to want to go down every path and see the whole story. So I came up with that system, and eventually I would just flip around to a page that had a split that I hadn't gone down yet, and I would go through it that way. So I'll probably take these out, but I left them in for the video to show like this system that I had to build. On the cover, it brags that it has 3,856 story possibilities, which again is mind-boggling. I kind of understand how you maybe plan the comic, what I like panel by panel, if you drew them separately. What I don't understand is how you design them and organize them so efficiently onto the pages and with this tab system here. And the tabs can lead you both ways. So that's a massively interesting design trick too. Like this tab's going to tell me to flip this way, but there's other pages in the book where it's going to have me flip back this way. Something will lead to a tab that flips me back that way. So, I mean, just I cannot imagine. It's absolutely fascinating, the creative aspect of this. I mean, when you're doing something formal like this, it's best if the formalism adds to the content. This one is a little bit just more of a formal experiment, but the machines do have like the time machine, and there's I'll show you a quantum machine and the mind machine, so it does play into the format of the story. Ultimately, I think the story's a little shallow, but it kind of has to be. I don't know how you could tell too deep of a story and manage all of the tricksy stuff that's going on here. So here's a crazy page. And I never solved it, but you see this is like a circuit board that can lead you pretty much to anywhere in the book. So this is where some of that 3,500 possibilities are coming from. But there's also a code here that throughout the book you're supposed to be able to extract the code from the story. So you choosing to go here and then come back out in a certain spot should lead you through the middle and to the other side, as if you're pressing the buttons on the machine. So it's a way of bringing you into the story and letting you interact with an object in the story. I didn't solve that code. There was some other stuff where they told which symbol to follow to get to certain places. I don't know if I marked that. Here's an explanation of quantum mechanics in the comics. So they have a coin flip, and you can flip the coin to be heads or tails, and it's unresolved until you flip the coin, like the Schrodinger's cat principle of quantum mechanics. It's both until you observe it, and then you can choose which one you get, and then they'll go into these loops where like it's split off into another reality. So you get another of that same page, but it leads you to different places. So we've now entered within the comic, like actually physically the book has alternate realities built into it, which is fascinating. This reality and the other one I just showed are pretty much the same, but they can lead to different tabs, so they'll kind of put you down on different pathways. So that's a really interesting way of showing that visually. This I found super funny. There's this page where the character meets himself from the future or the past and is talking to himself, and you can take all different routes, but you can get stuck in a loop here where he says, "I know you are, but what am I? A moron. I know you are, but what am I? A moron. Am not. R2. I know you are, but what am I? A moron. Am not. R2. I know you am, but what?" And there's no way out of this. Here you can come in from the other side. "Oh, and before you go, I thought you should know you're a moron. I know you are, but what am I? A moron. I am not." And I really like that loop. Like it's like talking to a kid. Why? There's no way out of those type of conversations. And so if you get to that point in the book, there's nowhere to go but to be forever stuck in there, if you follow the rules. At that point, I would just jump to another page and keep going. Here's another circuit board, and there's 2 places in the book where they have these. I don't know if you can see them, but there's a pattern of green and red, maybe 1 red and 3 green or whatever, and there's 2 places in the book where they have that image hidden, like as a clue that you can find, and then you would follow. Now you've got a maze, so that's fun, and it's all twisted, so that brings another like aspect of play into it, games and play, that I really like. The whole book is very playful. Anytime there's way to interact with the comic other than reading it, I'm super fascinated by that. So you follow that, and hopefully you find the right path, and those 2 will get you into a part of the story that progresses more. A lot of the other ones will loop you back into where you're like, damn, I just read this part. So that's really interesting. At some point I cheated, and I just, okay, well, I haven't checked this path, and this is another like circuit board where it can send you forwards and backwards in the book. There's a number of different endings, but I think the one that's like the ultimate goal that you can get to here is you get welcomed into this future utopian society. There's other ones where you die. There's other ones where you just keep the worst. Oh, here's one of the, if you look into the Band-Aid thing, you'll find one of the clues. In other realities, you don't get the clue out of it. But yeah, there's, like with any good choose your own story, there's lots of different ways it can end. Some of them are more boring, some of them are the loop, but there's the utopian ending that you can get to as well. And then just visually, I think it's a stunning book. Interesting color palettes, really playful layouts. Here's the 3 machines that you can choose from. And for as complicated as it was, once I developed this tab system to navigate it, it really didn't take me too long to read, maybe an hour and a half or something like that, because there is a lot of repetition between these panels. So even though you're seeing a lot of panels, it's like he cut and pasted that panel into different places on multiple compositions. So I like that collage aspect of making a page. I'm assuming these were all drawn individually. I don't know about how these got put in there, but I'm assuming the drawings were done individually, and then maybe the borders and stuff were done digitally, and he could cut and paste so he could reuse an image in different contexts in the narrative as you loop back to scenes and re-encounter things that you've encountered before. So interesting meditation on time, memory, quantum physics, crazy mathematics, and then just purely, like, I don't think anyone's ever going to attempt something like this again. And then in the middle of the book, there's no way to get there, you just have to cheat, is squid for no reason. So if you've never seen this, I don't really care if it's like a good story or, you like the art or not. Like, if you like comics and you like the possibilities of what comics could be, you should absolutely grab this book. I think because there's so many library copies and stuff, you could probably find a used one pretty cheap. I'd be really interested if people, here's another access code, accepted. I'd be really interested if other people got a hold of this, if there are copies without these laminated pages, or if all of the different versions have the laminated pages. I know for a fact there's one that has a blue cover, so I wonder if that's like the more general public or first or second printing. But absolutely recommend this book. It's so much fun. Thanks for playing along, and make sure to check out our book, The Strange Death of Alex Raymond. Not quite as formally tricky as this, but a book that is packed full of a lot of fascinating page design formalisms as well. Take it away, Jack.
You want to see all these books? Smash that subscribe button and the like button and the bell, and then you get them.